The headlines have now changed. President Biden is getting his first opportunity to make history on the Supreme Court. He plans to nominate a black woman to the nation's highest bench.
The court's oldest member, Justice Stephen Breyer, is expected to retire this summer. George Thomas takes a look at the list of potential nominees to replace him.
President Biden and Justice Breyer are expected to announce his retirement at the White House today, paving the way for the president to keep his pledge to nominate the court's first African-American woman.
The president has stated and reiterated his commitment to nominating a black woman to the Supreme Court and certainly stands by that.
I would like to start by expressing my sincerest gratitude to you, Mr. Chairman.
Set to top the list of potential picks is Ketanji Brown Jackson, who got 3 Republican votes, including South Carolina's Lindsey Graham, when the Senate confirmed her to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals last June. Also on the list is Leondra Kruger of the California Supreme Court, J. Michelle Childs, who serves on South Carolina's federal court, and Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner of the U.S. District Court of Georgia. Justice Breyer's departure won't shift the court's 6-3 conservative majority, but does come at a critical time for Democrats, who've been pushing for the 83-year-old senior justice to retire.
It comes at a time when the Democrats have the slimmest control of the Senate, where a new justice would have to be confirmed. And that's also just in advance of midterm elections, where that majority is very much in question.
So help me God. Congratulations, Justice.
Breyer was known as a centrist during his 27 years on the bench, but he consistently voted with the liberal wing of the court. One of Judge Breyer's most important cases was in 2000, when he wrote the majority opinion, striking down a Nebraska law outlawing partial birth abortion.
Human Rights Campaign, pro-LGBT group, calling him a wonderful hero of the movement. And you just go down the list. Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, all with very, very kind words.
Top Senate Democrats say they'll move quickly to confirm Biden's nominee, even if Breyer does not officially step down until the summer. And despite a 50-50 split in the upper chamber, most experts aren't expecting a rancorous fight.
We're not going to have the Brett Kavanaugh fireworks, and we're not going to have any of that for sure, or even the Amy Coney Barrett fireworks, and for that matter, not even the Neil Gorsuch fireworks.
George Thomas, CBN News.
Well, with us now with more on this story is Michael Schietzelt. He's a senior fellow at the Robertson Center for Constitutional Law at Regent University. So, Michael, let's talk about legacy. What's the legacy of Justice Breyer?
Well, Justice Breyer's legacy, first and foremost, you have to remember that Justice Breyer was an academic before he was nominated to the court. And he's shown what the pros and cons are of nominating an academic to the bench. On one hand, he was very thoughtful, very respectful of his colleagues. He was willing to engage with the toughest intellectual questions that came before the court. But he also had a tendency at times, as academics do, to tie himself up in intellectual knots. So people have been shy to nominate academics following Justice Breyer. But you also have to remember he was a staunch defender of the court against some ill-conceived reform proposals, especially recently. And he's also known as a very collegial person. As Neil Gorsuch wrote that he has an endless reservoir of knock-knock jokes. So he'll leave big shoes to fill, though. There's no denying that he was a towering intellect, is a towering intellect.
Well, let's talk about who's going to replace him. Do you have a favorite in the growing list of potential nominees?
Well, as the previous video stated, there are definitely 2 consensus frontrunners. There's Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Justice Leondra Kruger of the California Supreme Court. And of course, both of these women have sterling, impeccable resumes. They both went to very fine law schools, graduated at the top of their classes. Judge Jackson has spent more time on the bench. Justice Kruger has been on the high court in California. Both of them have had wonderful careers. Both of them are young. Justice Kruger is 45 and Judge Jackson is 51. I want to make sure I get this right. So they're both right there within that window. Both of them are eminently defensible picks for the president.
Well, let's talk about politics, because I think you have to talk about politics in changing the Supreme Court. It has been observed that perhaps Breyer is throwing the president a lifeline to change the headlines to get us off Ukraine and inflation and the pandemic. Do you think there's a political reason for this announcement right now, or should we just take it at face value?
Well, I think there's definitely a political reason for the announcement, although I don't think we should attribute that to Justice Breyer, who was very upset, according to reports yesterday, that this news was leaked. But the White House is desperate for a win, and as soon as they caught wind of it, I'm sure somebody decided to put this out there. But this, I mean, again, if Joe Biden nominates one of these two women to the court, again, it's an eminently defensible pick. They should sail through confirmation unless something really crazy comes out. And I just don't foresee that happening. So this has got to be welcome news for the Biden administration. And yeah, I think this is an easy opportunity to rally the base for him by fulfilling a campaign promise, and also to demonstrate at least a semblance of competence that he can get something through the legislature.
Do you think Republicans are going to be looking for payback for some of the claims made in previous judicial nominations? Are they going to try to do a tit for tat?
Yeah, I don't know if they will. I definitely don't think they should. I think that what happened with Neil Gorsuch was a real own goal by the Democrats. I mean, they forced Mitch McConnell to nuke the rest of the filibuster, what was left of it, for judicial nominees, and it really harmed them. If they had kind of rested and said, you know, Neil Gorsuch is a great pick, we'll wait and wage this battle on the next nominee, then it would have been harder for Mitch McConnell to nuke the filibuster for Brett Kavanaugh, given the whole circus around his confirmation. So, you know, I'm obviously not in the caucus meetings. I don't know what's going on Capitol Hill. But I would recommend that they don't try to interfere with this if Joe Biden does pick one of these two women.
No, I'll agree with you on that one. I think the politicization of the court has really helped to divide the country, and we need an independent judiciary.